now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Uh, you know, Invincible season 2. That shit ended. I don't know why. It's been like, I feel like it's been so long since it started. It just started in November, and now it ended. We're in April. It's just crazy to think about. Yeah, season finale, man. I feel like, what'd you think about season 2 overall? Before we talk about the finale. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I love this season. Uh, Honestly, I would say it's tough because it just ended. So, but I low key feel like this season was better than the first season. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the season just ended, but I just feel like with not because I've rewatched the first season so many times, and I think um, like the biggest underlining thing that like made people want to watch the show was the whole Omni-Man situation, you know what I'm saying? But besides that, everything else is kind of just like good. Like it wasn't like amazing. It was good. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it was just building up to that moment of like, yo, what's going on with Omni-Man? Like, is he villain? Is he a villain? Is he a good guy? Like that was the entirety of the first season. Like it was just like, yo, we need to know what's going on with Omni-Man and shit. And I think with this season, it's like dealing with the repercussions of it. It's just more satisfying because we're more closer to the characters. Like in the first season, you're getting to know everybody, but I feel like in the second season, you actually care about all the characters. Like I truly don't have like a character I hate. Like I feel like every character was great this season. Like I actually loved every single character. You know what I'm saying? Like I think the storylines are great. I think the issue I have with the show is more based on like the everything outside of the show. Like you know what I'm saying? Like the fact that we had to wait so long and shit like that. Like that's the only things I have issues with the show. But everything that happens within the show is I just love everything about it. Like the action, the comedy, the character development. Like it's just, yeah, it's fuck. The show is just really great, and I'm happy that we don't have to wait as long for the next season to really, dive back into this universe because there's just this series is like I've never felt a way about a series like this, but like this before. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I can't really explain it. Like yes, when you watch shows, like some certain shows like stick with you. Like I feel like this show really is gonna stick with me forever. Like it really impacted the way, especially because I'm such a big fan of like superheroes and shit. I think the way, even though a lot like it's like majority of the things that they do in the show is somewhat generic, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's the specific route that they take with the characters and the deconstruction of like what a superhero is and who's the bad guy and things of that nature. I think that's what really makes this show unique. Like because if you think about it, this and The Boys are very similar, but they're super drastically different at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, I really love this season. I feel like I guess we might as well just go into like we'll just talk about pros and cons about the overall season, and then we'll dive deep into the finale. I would say I truly don't think I have any cons per se. The only, now that I really think about it, I guess the only con is just, I think we could have waited longer for the build up with the Omni-Man thing. Like Omni-Man kind of came back within like in the third. No, he came back in the fourth episode. And I don't know. It's not like it could be worse or better, but I just feel like if I was writing it, I would have definitely let that breathe in a little bit. But then at the same time, yes, you also have to think like in the world of Omni-Man, like what happened on Earth doesn't really mean shit, right? To him, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's been living on for so long or whatever. But yeah, I would have personally did that. But other than that, I truly don't think I have any cons. Like I was invested in all the storylines. For the pros, I would say, I feel like Debbie really stepped up this season just because as like a viewer, we're kind of like Debbie. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're watching it kind of from her perspective, as if like she doesn't, like, we don't know what's going on, and we're finding out everything as she finds it out. So we're kind of seeing ourselves in her, which I feel like she really shined this season, because no matter what anybody says, like if you were in her position, you would feel like, what the fuck? Like my whole life is a lie. Like everything that happened in my life is a lie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you would probably mentally break, like anybody. Like, you know what I'm saying? So seeing her do that and seeing her slightly overcome it and kind of finding a whole new purpose with Oliver, and that's his little brother's name, Oliver, right? Yeah, Oliver. Finding like a new kind of inspiration to live on, continue living. Mark finding that balance. I feel like it's so dope because the intro screen, I was kind of confused on what it meant, but I think it truly like is symbolic of like what the season is. Like it's funny because the color scheme is red, and then it breaks into like his OG kind of color scheme. So it could either mean like he's like, the red is like the trauma, and he's breaking apart pieces of his trauma and kind of overcoming it, or it could be his real, like, who he truly is underneath is trying to come out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many layers to like that intro, which I really find is really sick. Mark trying to figure out, like, do I even go to school? Like, what the fuck is the point of me going to school? Like he's not gonna become a doctor. He's not, like, you feel me? Things like that. It's like, when you're a superhero, you really gotta think of that shit. Like, like, what would be the point of getting a job and going to school? Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. You want to have a normal life. You know what I'm saying? You want to go to college and have those college parties. Like, you want to have a normal experience, but you can't. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think who else? Oh, Adam Eve, another big, like, I feel like they pushed her back a little bit this season, but they had to. Like, there was so much shit going on. They had to push her back this season. I think the next season we'll see a lot more with them, Mark and her, like, that whole love situation. We'll definitely see more of that because Amber is not in the picture anymore, you know? Omni-Man, like, the way, it's crazy how you could feel, it's funny how he's low-key like Vegeta. like you hate him in the beginning, and then you start hearing more about how he's maturing and learning, like, from his mistakes, and then you truly feel bad for the nigga. Like, you feel me? Like, the nigga's like, he clearly feels bad, even though feeling bad for what you did is not enough, but it's just the fact that he feels bad. Like, that should tell you, like, something's going on with his brain. Like, he's growing as a person, which is crazy to think about because he's been alive for thousands of years, you know? Yeah, I would say Mark, Debbie, and Omni-Man were, like, the big highlights for me in this season personally. But yeah, like I said, I don't really have any cons, but you could just give me like, what do you think about like the pros and the cons of the season and shit?
There's not really that many cons, I wouldn't say, but definitely what you mentioned about how like the Omni Man situation goes in stretch. I felt like a lot of the villains too go in stretch, which I wasn't expecting because in season one they didn't really stretch out villains that much. They just gave them like a couple of episodes and then they got rid of them basically. Like the whole Armstrong, the black dude who has the ability to travel through dimensions. I thought he was gonna be like way more involved in this season, and I was disappointed that he wasn't. I feel like a villain like him could have been like
Important. Like it could have been big. It could have been big. Yeah.
bigger, yeah, it could have been a bigger villain than what he was. But then again, with Invincible, you never know what could happen. He could probably come back or somehow.
Yeah.
Like, so how you got fucked up? I don't think he coming back, bro.
They didn't even show his face. Like after Invincible beat his ass, they didn't even show like his body. Like.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna come back. And a lot of those cons, I feel like Alan should have been more involved in the show, even though like I guess he's gathering everyone together for like a big ass event. You know, but I wish I seen him more often. And then who else would I want to see?
Before you finish that point, I do like, of course, like I was thinking like that, like yeah, like I do wanna I do wish I could see more of the characters that I enjoyed, especially in the season. But I feel like you have to really take it into consideration that the fact that this is only 8 episodes. It's only 8 episodes, right? And 2, I think something that I specifically love about this show is just the fact that we never just see somebody once. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like every single person we've seen them again at one point in time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Except for the Guardians, obviously. Those niggas is dead. But I'm saying, like, especially when it comes to the villains, you know what I'm saying? I think, so I feel like, the villains and, like, the side characters, we'll always get more of them. So I'm never like, damn, I wish I got more of that character. Or, like, random side note, you know, Bulletproof, the black guy on the team, on the Guardians, this was like prior, like I remember when they had just announced Invincible, they like his images shit started popping up a lot, and I remember on YouTube it was like a video, it was like, there's a black Invincible, and it was a picture of Bulletproof. And I was like, what the fuck? And I clicked it, and I watched the video, and it kind of pretty much told me, like, everything about his powers and, like, his backstory and shit. And, like, he has a crazy fucking backstory. Like, just his character alone, he has a crazy backstory and a crazy, like, power, like, the way his powers work is just weird. So it's, like, the fact that we didn't even touch on him, and he was like introduced this season, you know what I'm saying? He was introduced this season, and we didn't even touch on his backstory or anything about him. Like, I don't even think we know his first name. But like, because of what I know, I'm not like, damn, why didn't we get more Bulletproof? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know we're going to get way more about like his backstory and things of that nature. So that's why at the same, like, the only part of what you said that I agree with you was definitely the Angstrom Levy thing, but at the same time I think he was put there, like, he was like a means to an end. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he was supposed to die. Like, he was supposed to be that thing that caused Mark to like start rethinking his life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that he knows that in other dimensions he turns evil, and like, I feel like what we got was just enough, but like, he was supposed to die. Like, we weren't supposed to see more of him, even though the character felt like we were supposed to see more of him. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what Invincible does a lot. Like, they show like a character that you feel like, well, this character's like, there's a lot to it. You know what I'm saying? But like, they're like a means to an end. You know what I'm saying? that's kind of how I thought of things going in through this season. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, continue with saying.
Another thing that I would say, see, I don't even think it's really a conflict. It's not really a conflict. I'm not gonna say that. But for pros, I definitely want to say, like I said earlier,
Voice acting is crazy. Yeah, it's crazy that all of the voice actors on this show are from The Walking Dead. Like, they're not even actually like voice actors. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's crazy that, like, of course J.K. Simmons is like that nigga. Like, of course he's gonna kill it. But like everybody else, like, they're all. I feel like every single character is crazy voice acting. Like, they're all, especially Angstrom Levy in the last episode. That nigga was talking. He was like, "He's a monster." I was like, "Yo, that nigga's going crazy, bro. That nigga's going crazy." That shit was crazy.
I feel so bad for him because, like, I understood where he came from. Like, honestly, I would probably be the same way, bro. If I went through what he went through, bro, I probably would have moved part too.
And it's funny because, Debbie was just like, "That's not him." Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not this universe's Mark. But to him, all the universes are combined in his head. So like all of them, they're all him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like every person he's lost is just another part of his family. Like, yo, when he killed his son, I was like, yo, like, I get it. Like, I get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit's crazy. When he was slicing all their heads off. Evil Mark. I feel like he's coming. He's gonna come. Like, I feel like he's gonna come. Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. Yeah.
Another thing, bro, is basically, like, I feel like there's a lot of, the show has a lot of setup. It's like this season has a lot of setup for a lot of things to go down in the future. Like we were just talking about Evil Mark. We're talking about,
Viltrumice.
General Craig, bro. That nigga looked like he about to fold niggas. Like, the way how he was fucking up those, like,
yeah. Nigga, Anissa? Just Anissa alone. Anissa was murking Mark. Like, she was like, just her. Like, you know me? Like, I can't wait, bro.
And I'm like, I'm looking at Omni-Man as someone to be feared, bro. I'm like, yo, they really want Omni-Man like he's always do with Omni-Man. I think it's probably Rico next. And I was just watching this, I get so strong, bro.
Yeah, they were like, yo, I used to look up to you as a kid. Like, you're like, don't make me hurt you, man. So I was like, they're clearly like strong enough to hang with him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And I don't think they would let people guard him down that point.
No, like, he didn't have any chains on anything. Like, the niggas just walking. So they're clearly not worried about him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I liked a lot of the side character stories, like Cecil's friend who died like so many times.
Donald. Yeah.
You know what's kind of crazy? Like, I actually cared about the character Cecil Case. I didn't even think I cared about her. I don't know why. I felt bad when I thought she was dead.
But what she did was smart, because it's something I always thought of, but I never said it out loud. It's like, wouldn't it make sense for her never to be out there, like, to send out clones to fight? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, it said once. It said 0 that time. I was like, yeah, that's smart. That's smart.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
See, that was gonna be a con for me, bro. That's why I said I wasn't gonna even say it. I was gonna say that, like, I didn't like how they brought everyone back that we thought just died. You know what I mean? I thought
Yeah.
like, there was things like that. But it's not really a con because I kind of like this character.
Yeah, it's but that's the thing. I just feel like this is the only show that can do that. Like, you feel me? Like kill a character and you're like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I actually fuck with that character. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like just the fact that like this day, like I said, like, and to dive even into the finale, like when Angstrom broke Derby's arm, bro, like I literally was like, yo, I was like, no, like.
I just didn't get him because he got cut with a knife like it was nothing, but he was able to break people's arms like that. I was like, and then he was like, oh, I'm strongly be replaced. I'm like, okay, so I guess he was hiding his abilities, and then Mark just fucking smashed into his face. I was like, I guess he wasn't that damn stuff. I was like,
Yeah,
yo,
yeah, yeah. Alright, yeah, we might as well just jump into the finale, man. This shit was fucking bonkers, nigga. Like, yo, that shit was crazy. So, yeah, so what I think happened was he was just like a little, like he was just above average strong, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was just able to hang with him, and that's one of the reasons why he sent him to other universes. He said it himself. He was like, just to weaken you, like, you know what I'm saying? Because he wouldn't have been able to like really hang with Mark at his prime. So that's why he used all that shit to weaken him. And I feel like he went. His plan wasn't to go that far, but I feel like throughout the episode he escalated. Like in the beginning he said he wasn't gonna hurt Debbie and he wasn't gonna hurt Oliver, but then like he literally started going crazy through the episode. Like, you feel me? Like, and the fact that Debbie was like, yo, you're just mad because he's good in this universe and you're the asshole. Like, you're the villain in this like universe. And that just really fucked him up. Like, that really sent that nigga on a loop. And that's why he was like, fuck it, let me fuck him up. Like, and then that's where he made the mistake, because Mark's been holding back the entire time. So it's like, it's one of those things where that nigga was just like, his plan wasn't to go that far, but it just happened to go that far. You feel me? Like, and the second he slipped up, Mark was just like, nah, nigga. Like, I'm just gonna kill this nigga. Like, yeah. Shit is crazy.
The whole entire time when he was punching, I was like, he's gonna stop, right? He's gonna stop. And he just finished. I was like,
yeah. And I'm like, nigga, you're gonna be stuck there. Like, what are you doing? Like,
that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
And when the Guardians came, like the future Guardians came and like let him go, I was like, yeah, I wonder what happened to him. Because they said like he didn't come out like the same. But then part of me was like, he's part Viltrumite, right? So he can breathe out of space, right?
No, they can't. Like, not they can't. I don't think he can. I think the rest of them can. Because I remember when he went to go fight, when in the first season when he went to go fight Alan, he had to go back to Earth to breathe and then go back up and fight. So I think Viltrumites can, but he can't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was like, yo, why don't you just fly out of the planet, bro, and find somewhere else?
I mean, think about it. He don't know where he's at, like, and he's not. He said himself he's not really good at like knowing like locations and things of that nature. Like, so he really would have got lost. Like, what I think that happened in that universe, I think that's another evil Mark universe. Like, I think, because the way they came in, they were kind of shook, man, and then they noticed that, like, it was, like, a younger version of Mark, and they were like, alright, yo, yeah, we gotta save him, and, like, help the timeline and shit. So I think that's another evil version of Mark in that universe. Because he's like, you know, like, they didn't tell him what happened to him. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think, yeah, they were like, you don't want to know. That's what they said, so, yeah. I think that's another evil Mark. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess they said he went missing. They know he couldn't die. And they knew he was fighting a nigga that was sending him to different, like, dimensions. So I guess they spent that time looking for him. And I guess Robot found him. Or, I don't know if that was Robot or if that was Rex in a robot suit. Like, but that's the thing, he cloned him. So of course he would look like him when he gets older. So I don't know, but she did say shut up, Rex. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I love about the show. You really don't know.
I'm just trying to understand though, because like, they made it seem like just because they did that, they didn't change their timeline.
Yeah, I guess it.
That's why I didn't understand why it's not going to change the timeline. What's the point of going to
To say, I don't know, maybe to save the past. I don't know if it was more of like a like a time travel thing or like a portal or a different dimension type of thing. You know what I mean? Because Angstrom Levy's power is dimension based. So I don't know if it was. I don't know how that works. I'm not gonna lie. But I feel like we'll find. This isn't the end of the. I feel like this isn't the end of the multiverse thing. Like we're gonna see more of that. Like you know what I'm saying? So I'm not worried about it. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. What I was waiting for when the Guardians show up and they said it was 20 years later, I thought Oliver was gonna pop up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just because they said 20 years later and Mark disappeared, like, I don't know. I just thought Oliver was gonna pop up. Yeah. Totaled it, bro. Totaled it. Yeah. Something like that, yeah. And if Mark gone, it's up. It's up. But yeah. Speaking of multiverse, we saw fake ass Spider-Man, right? We saw the Walking Dead universe, which is fire because the creator made both. We saw Batman. Also, when it's funny as fuck when Invincible flew. You remember when he flew through the portal and hit Angstrom with a gun? Like he hit him with like a gun.
Oh yeah.
That gun was from Fortnite.
I'm dead. That's a shotgun?
It's a sniper. It was a sniper from Fortnite. And it's funny because he's in Fortnite, so it's like he went to it. That shit was funny. Yeah, I didn't catch it either. I seen somebody post about it. I was like, oh, that's funny as fuck. But yeah, I think too. I think it's dope that because in the comics, Invincible and Spider-Man actually met before. So I think they were trying to do like a nod to that, and obviously they can't use Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was pretty dope. Yeah, a lot of the cameos are fire. Another random coincidence that I noticed was Mark, Debbie, and Omni-Man have like bruises on their left eye.
Yeah.
I thought that was just like kind of like poetic. Like it was just kind of poetic, you know. Also, Mark being on top of Angstrom Levy looked exactly like what Omni-Man did to him. You know what I'm saying? That's what I love about this is what I love about the show, is just because I knew Angstrom Levy was gonna be the through line for this season. He was gonna be he was gonna be the Omni-Man. Like we saw him in the first episode. We found out about what was going on, just like Omni-Man. And then at the end of the finale of the season, we see them fight, and we literally see him look exactly like Omni-Man when he beat him and shit. It's funny because it just reminds me so much of like Superman and shit. It's like take away like obviously the Viltrumite shit, and think about it of just like him just being that strong and like fighting for like to save his family. Like does he hold back, or like does he kill him? Like, and then what makes him different from being a villain because he killed somebody? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that thin line is just so crazy to think about. Like this nigga's literally like broken. Like you feel me? Like even at the end when he was flying, that nigga was like breaking the time barrier. Like you feel me? Like that nigga is strong as fuck. So it's like when you're fighting these villains and shit, it's just like, do you hold back, or like how hard do you punch them and shit? Like that shit is just and it's funny because when they showed Spider-Man goes through that same thing where it's like he's way stronger than anybody he fights, so he has to pull his punches or he will kill them. You feel me? That's something he has to do on a daily. So it's like the fact that he met with Spider-Man, I just felt like that was also poetic as fuck. But yeah, the season was fucking crazy, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Shit was crazy. Yeah, I guess we could just say any thoughts for next season, like what would you rate it, and then thoughts for next season. anything you wanna, other than the Viltrumite stuff, anything you want. Like, I don't think, like they're rushing it a lot, but I don't think the Viltrumites will attack Earth next season. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think there's gonna be more of that build up. I'm assuming so. You know what I'm saying? I'm assuming next season we're gonna build up to that, where Omni-Man and Alan break out of the prison together. You know what I'm saying? I think that's good. But yeah, like I was saying, any characters you're looking forward to seeing, or storylines or whatever?
I'm definitely interested in Oliver. I want to see how he grows and what he can actually do. As for villains, I'm not really sure what can happen because I feel like mostly everything was focused off first season, so I can't really predict that he's not here. He's gonna come back because we don't really see villains. We didn't really see villains this season. Maybe the twins. The Blue Twins are probably gonna make an appearance. They always make an appearance.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna be involved, but I really can't predict what's gonna happen this season other than possibly maybe Mark's gonna get more training, I guess, because he's complaining about having to be better. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I think so something I noticed was, again, they showed that whole mummy thing, and they also showed that in the first season, so I feel like they're building up to something with that, you know, because they showed it twice. You know what I'm saying? So they're obviously gonna build up to something with that. Two, that concrete black dude from the first season, when he became the Kingpin, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see more about that, you know. Also, like you said, Oliver, definitely, because I know a tiny bit about what his future, so I'm super excited to see that. I don't know how fast that will come, because he's still kind of a kid. But the thing about the show is this shit just skips months, like, so, you know, it doesn't really matter. And also, I definitely, even though I know we're gonna see more multiverse stuff, I just don't know how, like, you know what I'm saying? Because Angstrom is not here anymore, so I don't know how we're gonna be able to see more multiverse stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely want that. Yeah, somebody else has that power, so obviously. It would be cool for Angstrom to be still alive, but also at the same time, it's like he lived his purpose. It would have been cool. I loved seeing the other versions of Omni-Man and Invincible. I would love to see more of that. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, to rate it, I would give this to the. Honestly, I'll give it a 9.5. But because I'm really trying to think what stops this show from being a 10? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I loved everything about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, literally everything. So, but like at the same time, I don't think I've ever gave anything a 10. So it's like, it's tough. It's definitely tough. But yeah, I give it a 9.5. What's it called? I think. Because we know there's 2 more seasons already greenlit, I think a lot of the things that they built up here, I think we're gonna get more time to let things breathe in the next couple seasons because they know they're already greenlit. You know what I'm saying? Versus like the first season, they had to wait to get greenlit for the next season. You know? Yeah. Shit was heat, man. Crazy.
I can't picture Mark doing some shit like that, so when I see that,
Like I said, every other universe, like, and then Debbie joins them as well. Like, that's just crazy, bro. Crazy to think about. But yeah, I fucking love this show. Shit's crazy. I know. I think obviously him saying that doesn't really mean anything, but I think it's the fact that he said it he said like, "Oh, I miss my wife," it's more of like a, it's more symbolic than it is like, "Oh, I legit miss my wife." I think it's more symbolic, like they don't have like families type shit, and when it has Viltrumites, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the fact that he said he missed his wife, that should show you like that nigga is not Omni-Man anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's not that person anymore. Like, and the fact that he was saying, "Oh, like I deserve to die," and I feel like they just use him saying I miss my wife as a symbolic moment to be like, yeah, this, like he's completely changed, like as a person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Cause compare him to the finale of the last season, he's like, that's a pet. I don't give a fuck about that bitch. You know what I'm saying? So that's why. Like obviously when he said, "Oh, I miss my wife," I was like, oh, like that doesn't really mean nothing. Obviously, especially to her, she don't give a fuck. But I'm saying like the fact that he said it, it was just to show the audience kind of like, oh, like this nigga's not the same person anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I took it when I heard him. You know. But yeah.
I don't know how Debbie does it, but how she's taking care of Oliver and all that. I don't know how she did it, but she got fucked up. You know what's crazy? She got fucked up. Her arm was broken. The first thing she came out of her mouth.
Oliver.
No, like that is crazy.
She's a real one, but that's a mother. You know what I'm saying? Like she's gonna look out for the little nigga, man. No, even though it's not even her son, man, that's just crazy. But yeah, shout out to all the real moms out there, man. No cop. But yeah, that's pretty much all we got, man.
Glamour of wearing diamonds.
Diamonds bring
Status.
elegance and prestige. Their brilliance makes
Brilliance.